detergents. Now, for detergents, you need to also know the category of detergents, and then the functions of the different categories, the dangers of that particular one, and then evaluation of the products. To be possible of giving the differences and similarities between the categories on the detergents. Now, when you talk of the category of detergents, there are mainly two. We have what we call the soapy detergents, or what we is called the soap. And then we have what we call the soapless detergent. Soapless detergents. So there are mainly two. We have the soapy detergents, which we refer to as the soap, and then we have the soapless detergents. And then meaning now when you're giving an evaluation, you should be possible of giving one similarity between the soapy detergent and soapless detergent, and then one difference between the soapy and the soapless detergent. Now coming to the second elements of construct. The second elements of construct talk about diversity and interaction of substances and their importance in daily life. Meaning a should talk about appreciate the diversity and interaction of substances and their importance in daily life. Now, which particular areas can be assessed and displayed on this particular item? We have a series or a list of topics. Number one, we have using material. This is senior one, using material. We have, of course, the periodic table, senior 2-1. We have trends in the periodic table. We have structures and bonds. As from senior 3, we have formulae, more concept and stoichiometry. This is also senior 3 chapter. We have elements, compounds, and mixture. This is the senior 1 chapter. Elements, compounds, and mixture. We have polymer and plastics. And then we have the reactivity series. Reactivity series is the last chapter in book 2. Now, what is a learner supposed to know on all these different topics that will enable him to be in position of scoring or getting all the scores under item number 2? That takes us to what we call the basis of assessment. Now, at the basis of assessment, we expect the learner to be in position of giving us the category of the element or the compound or the substance or the material with a reason. So here we use this C plus R. You give us the category and then the reason. For example, when you talk of element has been categorized into two. We have the metal and non-metal. For example, if maybe the scenario was talking about sodium metal. So a lot of people position saying sodium is a metal because it loses its valence electrons to form positive ions. Sodium is a metal. By saying sodium is a metal, we already give you the category because it loses its valence electrons to form positive ions, or what we call the cations. So that particular one takes us to what we call the reason. So a learner who gives it in that format is able to get all the required scores. If the scenario is talking about compound, the learner is possible to give you the categories of compound. We have the ionic compound, we have the covalent compound, we have the metallic compound. So if it is an ionic compound, for example, maybe sodium chloride, the learner is supposed to say that sodium chloride is an ionic compound because it is formed through complete transfer of electrons from the metallic sodium to the non-metallic chloride to a chlorine atom. And that takes us to what we call the reason. Sodium chloride is an ionic compound because it is formed as a result of complete transfer of electrons from the sodium atom to the chlorine atom. So that statement of saying because it is formed as a result of complete transfer of electrons from the sodium atom to the chlorine atoms takes us to what we call the reason. Let me walk we're moving together. Now, if maybe the scenario is about maybe material, then the learners will come clearly and give us or state for us the categories of material. We have the synthetic, or what we call the man-made materials, and then you have the natural materials. And not just say maybe that a piece of paper is a synthetic material. You should be in position also giving the reason. Give a reason. Of course, when you talk of the synthetic material, the ones which are made from industries, do those chemical reactions in industries. The natural ones are the ones we do call the God-made, made by nature. Coming to the next one is a property. The learners will also be in position of giving us a property. Now, when giving the property of a particular substance, they can give a scenario maybe that is talking about you giving the property and the use on. Maybe they can say you state what you call the suitability of a particular substance. When you be told to give a suitability, here I really add the learner to use another division P and U. When you talk about the suitability, I mean the physical property of a substance that makes it very useful in daily life. So you give the property as P, and then you go ahead and state the use of that particular property. For example, if you're talking about toilet paper, someone can say toilet paper is very soft. That's what it's used for cleaning, maybe the private parts. Let me just mention them like that. No way scientists just go straight to the point. Well, by it being very soft, that is the property. Then now what makes it to be very useful for cleaning the private part is because it is very soft. So that gives us what we call the P and the U. Now, if the scenario maybe is about moral concept, maybe about moral concept, you can ask maybe you first perform some calculations to generate a particular compound. After generating the compound, then you can now be able to go ahead and you categorize the given compound. They can need to give you some percentages, maybe compositions of the substance, maybe calcium, maybe 75%, and then oxygen, maybe 25%. So when these two are maybe combined together, that compound called calcium oxide is formed. So it is two more concepts that are able to derive or reach to what we call that particular compound. So upon using the calculation, you can now go ahead and state the category of that particular substance. So, and that is must be well versed in mole concepts, how to determine the number of moles, especially, and then the molar masses, the relative formula masses, those concepts. Know how to perform those calculations. Then, when you talk of the impact or pollution of the environment by the element, compound, substance, materials, and mitigation. This takes us back to what we look at here when we are analyzing the dangers under item number 1. So the same applies to here. You give us the impact, that is the DI. You give us the explanation, and then you give us what we call the mitigation. DI stands for the impact. DE, that's the explanation, and then DM stands for what you call mitigation. So meaning if maybe your scenario is about synthetic materials, the one which are man-made. Now, if maybe about polythene, what is the impact of polythene on the environment? Someone can say maybe because it's maybe soil pollution. Don't just say it causes soil pollution and stop there. It causes soil pollution. Why? Because it does not decompose. It does not decompose, and this can be mitigated by proper dumping of the polythene or recycling of the product. That's how we can answer that particular section of the task. You give us the impact that is causing soil pollution or causing air pollution. Go ahead and give us what you give us explanation. How is the cause? And then finally, you mitigate. Give us a possible solution. You cannot just come, you give us and say, cause the soil pollution and stop there. there should be a particular remedy to overcome that. Yes. So all in all, a learner should be in position of understanding all these different chapters into detail. For example, a scenario could be on maybe reactivity sales. You can be given maybe different substances, and then you can be tasked maybe to identify the different categories of the elements based on the flame test. Maybe potassium, you can be given potassium which burns with a purple or a light flame, sodium burning with a golden yellow flame. Now, if you really do not know the flame test of these different substances or the elements, it becomes very hard for the learner to be in position of answering or attempting that particular scenario and scoring or getting all the required scores. All in all, the learner should be in position of understanding the concept first into detail, and then he or she should be in position of now following these different concepts as the basis of assessment to align the different concepts which he or she has been taught or guided onto, so that he or she is able to gather all the scores in this particular paper, that is paper 1 chemistry. Now, all in all, this is what they can bring in section A, paper 1 chemistry. We talked of it having two section A having two items which are compulsory. There's item 1 and item 2, and we said item 1 comes from these given topics, chapters, and item 2 comes from those given chapters. A learner is supposed to know that into detail. Don't forget to always be in touch with Given Academy, because it is within Given Academy that we are supposed to give you what is required, and to ensure that each and every learner gets acquainted with O-level chemistry, especially those who are doing O-level chemistry. It is very easy to pass O-level chemistry. It's all about mastering a different concept. Thank you so much. It has been me, Teacher Dale, representing Given Academy. For those who need online coaching, online teaching, we are always available. Just send for us an email via givenacademy@gmail.com, or just say hi in our comment section. Tap on our notification button so that you keep on getting all our latest posts. We promise to always provide you with a detailed work, and I hope you're going to like it. Thank you so much. We meet again next time when we shall be handling section B part. Section B part of our chemistry 545-1. And in section B, of course, we have two parts, part 1 and part 2. And in part 1, I just want to give an highlight. In part 1 of section B, the elements of construct is about the learner appreciating the contribution of chemistry to our economy. And we always refer that to what we call the industrial process, where the learner is supposed to talk about, or the learner is supposed to write a presentation, or make a write-up, or write an article about maybe the manufacture of oxygen gas, extraction of metals. The ones they normally bring, we have extraction of iron, extraction of sodium, extraction of aluminum. Or the scenario could be on the manufacture of biogas, which is scenario 3 work. It could be on manufacture of sodium hydroxide, manufacture of lime, manufacture of chlorine gas, manufacture of fertilizers. It could be on manufacture of ethanol. So all those, when they bring 2 items. That is item 4 and item 3. Item 3 and 4, which comes from all those areas which I've just listed. Now, when the learner is answering this particular item that you're going to look at in the coming video, there is a particular format that the learner is supposed to follow. Don't just come and say, when you be told to write or make a presentation and say the head teacher, maybe the deputy teacher. No. Just go straight to the point. Go straight to the point. We write in a reported manner, like you're making a report. the first heading should always be raw material. You expect to learn to talk about the raw material. Then B part can be the process of production. How are you going to manufacture your products? Okay, let's see. How are you going to manufacture them? The products. We expect you to talk about the vessels you which are going to use, the conversion to the required products, the different chemical processes in coming up with the required products, method of purification. How are you going to purify your product?